X Money launches in the US and proves product pages need payment FAQ content before checkout. What X Money's US launch changes for e-commerce checkout content. An option can arrive first. Instructions lag behind. On July 28, 2026, X announced that X Money was launching for users in the United States. The rollout began that day. According to The Verge's report, the announcement confirms availability in the US. Still, several merchant questions remain open. X still needs specific documentation on transaction limits and refund mechanics for e-commerce sellers. Until those details arrive, merchants should treat them as unknowns. Don't fill the gap with optimistic copy. Every new payment method creates buyer questions before checkout. Those questions belong near the item a shopper is considering, where the decision begins. A badge shows that X Money exists. A useful explanation tells someone whether it fits this order. And it explains the consequences if the purchase changes later. Consider a $180 leather jacket. A shopper sees X Money beside the checkout options but finds no explanation of eligibility or refund handling on the jacket's page. So they have to guess. They may leave to search for answers or choose a familiar method before learning how returns are handled. The practical response is a buyer question audit across the path to purchase. Begin with availability, then cover security, refunds, limits, and support using language that matches its actual policy. Someone buying outerwear needs a direct sentence about return credits. A customer ordering a made-to-order item needs precise guidance about authorization and cancellation. Copy for payments often gets assigned to checkout settings and then forgotten in merchandising content. That split creates a gap between what the store accepts and what the shopper understands. The person maintaining the jacket listing should have a verified answer before the X Money logo appears beside. The purchase control. The launch changes the copy brief for US merchants. Document confirmed facts, mark open questions for follow-up, and publish an answer only when it is possible to honor it. Kaylee Moore is an e-commerce writer who covers product content and conversion behavior. Why a new payment option creates work before the cart. X Money adds a decision layer before a shopper reaches the cart. It creates a pause. A customer has to check whether the method applies to the purchase when the charge happens, and the consequences if the order gets canceled. A payment logo signals presence, while clear copy explains risk. That distinction matters. Shoppers aren't familiar with X Money. They can't tell whether a badge means universal eligibility or a conditional option. Flexible payment choices sounds pleasant, but it doesn't give anyone a usable rule. Take a $500 adjustable standing desk with an X Money badge beside the buy button. The shopper may want to confirm transaction eligibility and authorization timing before spending several minutes choosing a desktop. Color and frame size. A short answer can remove the obstacle. X Money eligibility appears in the cart, and authorization occurs when the order is submitted, provided that wording matches the merchant's confirmed process. Method education belongs on the item page. Instructions for completing the transaction belong inside the payment flow, where the customer has already reached the next stage. Earlier content should address risk and eligibility. Checkout should guide the shopper through the action the store actually supports. This structure also gives answer engines better material to work with. Systems that summarize shopping information can use a sentence with a clear condition and outcome. X Money is a secure way to pay, says little about a $500 desk. Orders above the method's published limit require another option, answers a real concern when the merchant can verify that limit. Search intent usually arrives in plain language. Someone asking whether X Money supports a $500 order wants an eligibility statement tied to the amount. Generic reassurance leaves the important fact unstated, so the shopper still has to investigate. The Baymard Institute's cart abandonment research places checkout friction among the broad causes of lost orders, giving uncertainty around payments a clear place in a conversion review. It doesn't show that questions about checkout explain every abandonment. Merchants should isolate this issue through support logs and checkout recordings, plus search queries related to payments. In the audits we run, the strongest fix is a question inventory tied to specific products. For the standing desk, the copy team should confirm eligibility and authorization timing before the badge goes live. Then, use the approved wording wherever that claim appears. Which e-commerce brands feel the impact first? The first pressure lands on stores where checkout uncertainty needs a meaningful commitment. High order values deserve attention, and recurring billing does too. Complicated fulfillment changes the risk profile too. That can make cancellation depend on production or shipment status. Payment questions carry more weight as commitment rises. A shopper buying a $35 skincare refill can tolerate a short eligibility explanation. But someone ordering a $2,400 sectional sofa needs to understand the spending limit before spending time on fabric. Selection and delivery planning. That matters. Store scenario, question to answer before checkout, subscription coffee service. Can the method cover the first charge and later recurring renewals? Custom wedding ring. When is authorization taken? And what happens if the final design changes? Pre-order item, is payment captured at reservation or when the product ships? Made-to-order sectional sofa, does the method support $2,400 when production takes 6 weeks? The sofa example deserves a specific warning. If X Money has a per-transaction ceiling below $2,400, the store should say so before the shopper configures the order. If the ceiling isn't confirmed, the merchant should avoid guessing and direct the customer to a verified support route. Small brands feel this work sharply. One person often owns merchandising copy and customer replies, and that same person may maintain checkout settings. So an unverified claim can be easy to publish and difficult to track. An owner and source field for every answer keeps the task manageable. Concerns about paying change with the item. A recurring coffee buyer cares about renewal authorization. A custom ring buyer cares about deposit timing and cancellation terms. Write around the commitment attached to each purchase. Don't copy one generic paragraph across every listing. Most stores we work with find inconsistencies during a basic inventory pass. Review product templates and collection pages for billing claims. Then, compare each statement with the merchant's confirmed policy across the shipping pages and help center. Internal links matter too, because when educational content points clearly to relevant commercial collections, shoppers and search systems can follow the relationship. The concrete task is a content matrix organized by product type and buyer concern. A row for a $2,400 sofa should carry different evidence from a row for a $35 refill, even when both products display the same logo. The claims that can damage trust when payment details are vague. Vague claims about checkout convenience turn into a trust problem. X Money's US launch gives merchants a fresh reason to audit every sentence near the buy button. A store can describe where a payment method appears. It can say which orders it accepts. But it can't promise approval or eligibility when X or another provider controls those decisions. Words such as instant approval, fully protected, and available to everyone create promises the merchant can't manage. A shopper with a new account, an order above a provider's risk limit, or an address outside the supported area could see a different result. So keep the claim tied to a fact the store can verify. Choose X Money at checkout when it appears for your order. The same standard applies to security language. Your information is safe, leaves the buyer guessing about the processor, the data collected during checkout, and who handles a failed charge. A useful answer names the provider shown at checkout and points shoppers to the relevant help page for account or identity questions. In our audits, we separate merchant facts from provider rules before editing the copy. The merchant owns the cancellation window and fulfillment promise. The provider handles account eligibility and identity checks. The issuing bank can still decline a transaction after the provider accepts the request. Consider a pre-order for a $900 espresso machine that says, "Buy now, ship soon." That line creates urgency. It also hides the facts a buyer needs before committing money. So, the store should state the expected shipping window, explain when cancellation remains available, and describe what happens if the supplier misses the schedule. The Federal Trade Commission's mail, internet, or telephone order merchandise rule requires shipping claims to match the seller's actual ability to ship. So, copy should be reviewed to ensure compliance. Pay now paired with an unclear fulfillment promise can distort a buying decision. Add a claim owner column to the content brief. Assign each answer to the merchant. Then, record the supporting source and next verification date. Every statement needs an owner and a scheduled review. How refunds and disputes should be explained before purchase. A refund starts with the seller, while a dispute follows the account's rules. X monies US. Availability makes that distinction more visible. Shoppers can confuse a merchant-approved refund with a complaint submitted through a network or account provider. Store copy should name the responsible party at each stage. Then, a customer knows where to begin after a canceled order or failed credit. A plain language sequence works well. Contact the store first, then wait for confirmation. Receive it when the refund is approved. Allow the stated processing window for the funds to appear. The merchant controls when it submits the refund and what amount it approves, while the buyer's bank or digital wallet controls the final posting time. Eligibility needs equal attention. State whether a canceled order qualifies, who pays return shipping, and how installment or deferred arrangements change after cancellation. Keep the answers short. Put them near the purchase decision. Which order types qualify for a refund? When does the cancellation cutoff close? Who pays return shipping? What happens to the payment arrangement? A personalized gold necklace shows why product-specific detail matters. The item page could state that cancellation ends after engraving begins. Returns are excluded for personalized goods. And an approved refund for a digital wallet purchase is submitted within 2 business days. It should link to the full policy for exceptions and definitions. Keep the visible answer short enough to scan near the purchase controls. Send edge cases, including final sale items or orders already handed to the carrier, to the complete returns policy. Don't promise an exact posting time when the store cannot control the buyer's bank or account. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau's complaint process shows why customers need a clear route for payment problems and a named party responsible for resolution. A store can reduce confusion by stating whether the customer should contact the merchant for some problems and the provider or account issuer for others. In our experience, refund language works best when customer service follows the same sequence shown beside the purchase controls. That alignment keeps an approved refund from sounding like an immediate balance update, which is where many avoidable follow-up messages begin. What store teams should change when a payment method launches? Checkout launches matter. Every claim must match the store's actual operations. This lesson applies to any provider. Treat the change as a content release. It affects templates and policies. It also affects support workflows and structured FAQ fields. Start with one checklist. Cover every place a shopper can encounter payment information. Include item templates, checkout copy, the refund policy link, and customer service macros plus structured FAQ fields. A lean apparel store adding a digital checkout option might need to update 40 item templates and one returns page before announcing the change. Assign one person to verify every claim about payments across the site. That owner records the source for each statement. They also remove wording that relies on an unconfirmed rollout detail after checking provider documentation. The reviewer can sit with e-commerce operations or content, but they need authority to delay publication when facts remain unclear. To learn more, visit heysprite.com today.